What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So I'm doing an updated Gloom Garuda build today. Basically because I haven't made a new updated Garuda video since I got all these Tau Shards, ever since the pity system for Tau Shards get added in like Echoes of Veilbreaker or whatever. So we'll be going over that today. This is an extremely powerful build, and we're also using the newly added Incarnon Miter, just to have a really, really easy time. So what you can expect from this build is you can expect infinite energy, infinite lifesteal, 95% slowing aura around you, and if you're using the weapons I've got in here too, you're going to be one-shotting Acolytes, Demolists, and the Steelpath Stalker. So very powerful stuff. And also, this is a big thing about Garuda in general. If you are not someone that has Arcane Energize, this is a frame, and also if you don't want to get Arcane Energize because it's expensive or whatever, hard to get, this is going to be one of the frames you should already have her, honestly. So we'll get into that. Hope you enjoy these types of videos, guys. We do daily Warframe video uploads. Make sure you're subbed and all that. And also check the live stream. We'll be live streaming a bunch of the double resource weekend farming. So lots and lots of steel lessons. Come stop by. Alright, so Garuda is one of my main frames I play. I've got 5 Tau Shards and 2 Umbra Formas on this build. It's a very, end game, late game setup. So if you don't have all this stuff, it's fine. But I will tell you right now, the numbers that we're going for in this build are pretty specific. So if you don't have every little thing, it's not going to be exactly the same. So just keep that in mind. So the ability that we're using right here is going to be Gloom from Sevagoth. And the way that Gloom from Sevagoth works is basically it's a aura around you that slows and provides you lifesteal. Let's hop into Simulacrum so we can take a look at this stuff I'm talking about. So we're on Garuda. Normally Garuda's second ability is going to be Blood Altar, which is going to be an ability where she jumps on an enemy and they are stunned and they heal you and heal nearby allies. It's an okay ability. This is just better. This ability from Sevagoth, you have to sacrifice the Sevagoth to the Helminth system, which requires rank 3 with the Deimos Syndicate, the Necrolisk. Once you sacrifice Sevagoth and you farm from Railjack, you can actually put this ability from Sevagoth on other frames. And now we've got Gloom Garuda right here. We're moving her Blood Altar for Gloom. So with this build, before our buffs, we're 65% slowing everything in the area. Once we apply our buffs from Materite, Void Sling, and also Molt Augmented Arcane, this 65% slow becomes a 95% slow in a 37 meter range. Yeah. And we have infinite energy, like I said, because Garuda's third ability, Bloodletting, lets us drain our health to get energy. And then if you remember what I said earlier, this gives lifesteal on everything, including ability damage. So basically the way it goes, and I'll show you here in the Simulacrum real quick, not with 20 Thrax, but with 20 Exogok you're going to cast your third ability. This is not really meant for people who are new to Garuda, but I'm just going to give you a long and short of it. So you cast your third ability. We're already full energy, but I'm just showing you. We get some energy, we cast this. Now every damage we deal will provide lifesteal. And we're already lifestealing from our attacking, it looks like right now. So get low health, get your energy back, cast your 4 or whatever, get fully healed back up. It doesn't do the most damage, but one shot from your gun will be a full heal as well. And then you can just keep casting over and over again. The way you fully buff yourself with Materite, Void Sling, I think it's called Chain Sling actually, is you will get 40% extra power strength after dashing twice. Switching to the Warframe after a Chain Slings adds 40% ability strength for 20 seconds. We're trying to hit like 285% power strength, I think it is. And we're at 187. So, it might be like 285 or something. So we jam another 100 from 40 there, and then on the actual build for the frame, we've got Molt Augmented. Every kill will give us power strength, stack them to 250 times. So it's fully stacked up, that's 60% power strength. We're basically right on the money for maximum 95% slow, which is caps out at. By the way, if you've ever fought a 95% slowed enemy in this game, it just feels like they're kind of stunned. So this is like an AoE stun all the time around you that you can infinitely sustain as long as you don't get the 0 energy. And if you do get the 0 energy, it's not that big of a deal. Just cast this ability, which has no energy cost, it just has a health cost. Cast it once, reactivate Gloom, and then just do a little bit of damage or back to full health. So no Energize required. Actually, Energize would be bad on this build. So even if you do have Energize, don't run Energize in Garuda. So going over all the mods we have here, it's going to be some pretty specific stuff. Like I said, we're pretty much right on the money for maximum slow. It's 285% Gloom, or 285% strength, how much you need for a full slow. So you can't really be super flexible with the power strength numbers. And you also might notice that we had 5 Tau Shards. This build is a 5 Tau Shard build. It technically will work kind of without Tau Shards, but you really do want Tau Shards for this. So extremely late game and extremely RNG dependent. So as far as Tau Shards, we've got 2 Crimson Tau Shards for duration, so 30% extra duration from our shards. You got 1 red Tau Shard for strength. That's the last little, like, amount we need to get to that maximum gloom slow. And then an extremely important stat in Garuda. This is why the Garuda videos have taken so long. I've got 2 Tau Forged Amber Shards for casting speed. You might notice I do not have casting speed on my build anymore. Natural talent is extremely important on Garuda because if you don't cast this ability quickly, the Blood for Energy ability, you are going to die because you're not going to have any energy and it's going to be bad. I also don't have quick thinking on here. I normally run quick thinking in my lazy tank Garuda build, but this is not meant to be a lazy tank Garuda build. This is supposed to be a build that's going to be going to high level enemies and all that. So we have Umbral Intensify and Umbra Fiber. You could technically take Umbral Fiber off for like. We have all Umbra mods actually, so it might not be a health build, but it can work at low levels too. It's meant for high levels, but that's where Rolling Guard comes in. We're not fully shield gating, but we don't really need it. Although it can be nice in some situations. Garuda has lots of gray health between her 4 and her 1, so you can pretty much survive with it. But if you are doing super high levels, you might want to sacrifice a little bit of your Gloom Slow for Unairu Armor Strip. So the rest of this stuff, Prime Flow has to have a bigger energy pool and a bunch of range so we can slow enemies in a massive area. Like I said, 37.6 range with this build. We've also got Combat Discipline. Whenever we get a kill, we will lose health, and that will trigger arcanes that are affected on damage. So without even getting shot, we will be able to trigger Arcane Avenger, giving us 45% additive crit chance for 12 seconds. And if we look at the weapons we're using here, now the Atomos is not really min-maxed. I just had that equipped. I am rocking my Riven on the Atoma or on the Miter, but I think you should have a Riven on the Miter. So with the crit chance increase, we're at 126% crit chance with no crit chance Riven. We do have a crit damage Riven, so jam another 45% on there. You're at like 170-something% crit chance, so pretty good. And then with Vigilante bonus, there will be lots of red crits. If you had a crit chance Miter Riven, you could be getting pretty much mostly red crits with this. But I didn't get one, so it's whatever. If you do have like crit chance on here, you'll be like 170-something% crit chance before Avenger. So with Avenger, it'll be like 211% crit chance, and that would be very nice. So yeah, the rest of the stuff is going to be pretty standard. Just some duration to make sure as you can see, we have 103% duration. If you go into negative duration, your equation for draining energy per time for Gloom can be really, really rough. So you want to be careful about that one. And additionally, the weapons and stuff are not fully min-maxed. I'm pretty much only using the Miter right now because the Miter has been so good. And why am I using the Miter on Garuda? Well, it's not a big deal for the Miter, but one of the reasons is it's so ridiculously strong. It's one-shotting everything. But the other reason is Gloom from Sevagoth is a channeled ability. And it's also a helmet ability too. So you can take it from Sevagoth, like I said at the beginning of the video, put on other frames. There are certain Incarnon weapons that have a special requirement where it says you must have a channeled ability active for this buff. And for the buffs we've chosen on our Incarnon Miter, Swift Saw Blades increase damage by 77 with a channeled ability active plus 70% fire rate. I don't have my Miter modded for fire rate. I've actually got a minus fire rate mod on it. So this lets me spam out shots really fast. If I actually feel like I don't usually feel like the need to fire more than 1 bullet in most enemies in this game with this thing. But if it's like a Demolist, I'll fire 3 bullets, and that fire rate will be nice. The rest of the stuff's just projectile speed and increased crit. Because the funny thing about the Miter is it does so much damage, and that Gloom works on Demolist. Does this guy look stunned to you? I mean, he was technically stunned. He was 95% slowed, and then I stunned him with Magus Lockdown. Isn't this hilarious, dude? It works on Demolist. It works on Acolytes. I think it works on Acolytes. It works on most things. It also works on Thrax once their Overguard is gone. It's good for all the endurance missions we do. It's good for Disruption. It's good for survival missions. It's good for Cascade missions because of the Thrax. I guess it's technically not great for objective defense. And there's me like firing 1 bullet at a time just to show how much damage this thing does. Yeah, I do have a Riven, and I'm playing Garuda, but if you're playing end-game, late-game missions, and you're not getting a Riven, you're selling yourself short, honestly. If you're using the Miter, you should have a Riven. That's my hot take. It would be a shame if you didn't have a Riven for this thing with 1.3 Dispo and crazy high base stats in the first place. So Hope you guys found this video fun and helpful. I'm going to make sure, I'm just going to do a quick overview of everything I'm using here at the end. But yeah, this is really good to go. I'll quickly show how Garuda's abilities can nuke too. So for the frame, we've got 5 Tau Shards, 2 of them being duration, 1 of them being strength, and another 2 of them being casting speed. Kuva Miter, we've got a, well, rather normal Miter, we've got a viral build, but I have been using a gas build before too. That was pretty good. And this will definitely one-shot Acolytes no tomorrow. If you don't have a Riven, maybe just like put on Hammer Shot there or something, or another crit damage mod. Yeah, Hammer Shot would work great, in the same polarity too. The Atomos, I wasn't even using it, just watch the Atomos video from yesterday if you want to see that. On my Praetos, I didn't really show this. The reason I'm using the Praetos is because it gives sprint speed, slide speed, and parkour velocity. I'm not even using it as a melee, I'm actually using it as a Shattering Impact stat stick. So if I hit an enemy, it reduces their armor by 6. If I'm really needing to armor strip a Demolist, I could just do this because they're 95% slowed anyway. So they can't fight back. They'll put out like a nullification pulse, but I'll just recast Gloom if they do that anyway. So remove all their armor, blast them with the Miter, no big deal. And then Matarai Focus School. If you're trying to go for armor strip, you can also go for Unairu. Unairu's, I think it's Caustic Strike, removes enemy armor 100%. That's pretty good. It's going to just instantly remove it. But remember, like I said earlier, you will lose that 40% power strength from not running Sling Strength. See, your Gloom slow will be like 87%. So if you want to maybe take out Overextended and do that, be my guest. And then for the Panzer Cat, we got Panzer Cat stuff here. Just Sharpen Claws to stuns, remove enemy armor. Viro Quills the Viro proc. Panzer Devolution to come back from the dead. And yeah, Prime Ammo Instinct to give me a loot radar so I can see where the loot is on the map. And absorb it. Mars Symbiosis to come back from the Sacrifice to come back from the dead too. So very, very powerful pet. But Count Kirby also gives me double loot, so I like that too. Alright guys, that's basically it for the video. I will see you next time. Appreciate all the support. And I will have a big Garuda video coming out soon, hopefully, where I go over all of my builds and all the weapons I usually use in Garuda. But let's just say the Kuva Miter has replaced a lot of the weapons I used on Garuda before. Also, if you don't want to use Combat Discipline, you can use Brief Respite for Shield Gate if you want to like more focus on Shield Gate and not Gray Health, because her 4th ability gives Gray Health and as does her 1. And if you're not running Combat Discipline, you can take off Avenger for something else. Like, there's lots of options. I know some people like Arcane Arachne on Garuda. There's Arcane Acceleration for more fire rate if you for some reason needed that. You know, Fury, I guess, if you're trying to go for a melee build. Rage for headshots on primaries, but we deal so much damage anyway. So really, you got lots of choices. But I like Avenger because we are getting so many red crits. Now let's show you can kill enemies with Garuda's abilities in the Steel Path with no weapons real quick, and then we're going to call it. And a reminder, Garuda can do this on any... This is not going to even involve Gloom at all. Alright, so you grab them with your Blood Orb, you jump into the air, you cast her 4, and you throw the Blood Orb at them. And there you go. It has damage fall off, but with a high range build like this, you can just do that on the Steel Path, no problem. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you need any more Garuda tips, make sure to check out the live stream channel, and I will see you soon. Take it easy, guys. Peace!